There are 7 moments in your life when opening your mouth is the dumbest thing you can do, and you've walked into it at least 3 times this week. Someone criticizes you unfairly. You defend yourself. Someone insults you. You fire back. Someone provokes you. You take the bait. Every time you do this, you hand control of your mind to the person who deserves it the least. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire without raising his voice. Epictetus, born a slave, became one of history's greatest teachers. They both figured out the same thing. Knowing when to say nothing is the ultimate power move. Here are 7 situations where silence wins, and a 7-day experiment to prove it. Situation 1. Unfair criticism. When someone criticizes us, instinct is to defend ourselves, explain, justify, prove them wrong. The Stoics saw it differently. Epictetus offered a surprisingly calm response. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." His point was simple. If criticism is true, learn from it. If it's false, why let it disturb your peace? Silence shows confidence. It demonstrates that your self-worth doesn't depend on the opinion of others. The philosopher understands that not every criticism deserves a response. Situation 2. Anger. Anger made you say something you can't take back. Probably this month. Maybe this week. Here's what actually happened in your brain. Your amygdala hijacked your prefrontal cortex before reason could even clock in. You were chemically incapable of making a good decision. Seneca figured this out 2,000 years before neuroscience proved it. He said, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. Delay is just silence with a strategy. It's not suppression. It's refusing to let a temporary chemical spike write checks your reputation has to cash later. Next time you feel it rising, close your mouth. Count to 10. That 10-second gap is the difference between a bad moment and a permanent problem. Situation 3. False accusations. Being falsely accused feels unbearable. You want to clear your name immediately. But endless self-defense often accomplishes very little. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Character speaks louder than arguments. Truth doesn't need a PR team. It reveals itself through consistent behavior. Situation 4. Verbal insults. 2,000 years ago, people dealt with hecklers in the Roman Forum. You deal with strangers in a comment section. Same game, different arena. Epictetus reframed the whole thing. Remember that it is not he who gives abuse or blows who insults, but the view we take of these things. The insult itself isn't the source of suffering. Your interpretation is. Think about the last nasty comment you read. The person who wrote it has forgotten you exist and moved on. Why haven't you? If someone calls you something untrue, nothing's changed. If they say something true, maybe you've learned something useful. Either way, becoming angry only gives power to the insult. Silence denies the insulter the reaction they seek. Situation 5. Arguments and conflict. Most arguments are not searches for truth. They're competitions where each person waits for the other to stop talking so they can reload. I've done this. You've done this. We've all done this. Probably this week. Socrates built his entire reputation on doing the opposite, asking questions and actually listening to the answers. Marcus Aurelius boiled it down. Be tolerant with others, strict with yourself. The second part matters more. It's easy to demand others listen. It's much harder to admit you stopped listening 3 sentences ago because you were busy drafting your comeback. The moment you stop trying to win is the moment you might actually learn something. Situation 6. Provocation. Somebody tried to provoke me last month. They knew exactly what button to press, knew I'd react, and I did react for about 2 seconds. Then I caught myself, shut my mouth, and said nothing. What happened next surprised me. They got uncomfortable. They filled the silence. They backtracked. Because provocation only works when you play the assigned role. When you refuse the script, the provocateur is left holding their own weapon with no one to attack. Marcus Aurelius was right. You have power over your mind, not outside events. But here's what it actually feels like in practice. You feel the anger, you recognize it, and you choose to pause. That pause isn't weakness. That's the moment you take control back. You are saying, my behavior belongs to me. The philosopher does not allow another person's actions to dictate their own. Now that's true freedom. Situation 7. Listening. There's a reason I saved this one for last. Most people think silence is just the absence of speaking. The Stoics saw it as the gateway to learning. Epictetus put it in terms you might just recognize. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. I was so sure my mom invented that line just to irritate me as a child. And I was genuinely shocked to find out she was quoting a philosopher who had died 2,000 years ago. But here's the thing. They both understood something most of us forgot. Most people listen to reload. The wise listen to understand. Every person you meet knows something you do not. Every conversation is an opportunity to learn, but only if you're quiet enough to hear. Wisdom doesn't grow from speaking, but from listening. Which brings us to the experiment. Choose one of the 7 situations where staying silent feels impossible. Doesn't have to be the most difficult, just something to use for this experiment. Go ahead and pause this video if you need some time. And go ahead and take your time, because I'm going to take a 10-second coffee break. Okay, let's get started. Now that you have a situation firmly in your mind, let's ask a few questions. How often does this situation actually happen? Is the philosopher's quote in your section something you can apply to your life? Do you think the outcome will be better if you stay silent? Will staying silent for a moment help you see the other person in a better light? Do you think by staying silent, you might, at least occasionally, learn something new? So here's the experiment. For the next week, answer each of these questions once every day. The answer may or may not change. Don't worry about that. Just answer them truthfully at the time. And consider reviewing this video halfway through the week to see if you've gained any new insights. Hopefully this will bring you some clarity and you can begin to move forward. Now, philosophy thrives in conversation and argument. Please add your comments below. Maybe tell us which situation you chose for the experiment. To go deeper, check the description and pinned comment for additional resources. And if you found this helpful, I would really appreciate a gentle tap in the like and subscribe button. And remember, in all things and at all times, be a philosopher.